Hey, welcome back to another Just 5 Mins and another ramble about AI. Whether you feel it's good, bad, inert, different, whatever it might be. Um, I don't know. I'm personally looking for some opportunities to where it can really be applied and help uh, in business or otherwise. And there's a lot of scope, and there is actually too much information, as well as the FOMO, fear of missing out on what's happening. But I think, like a lot of things, with how, again, love it or hate it, I'm just the purveyor of fine podcasts. Maybe not, but with things like Copilot getting built into Office, Windows, GitHub Copilot for coding, and everything else. I think it will be one of those things where for the masses, basically, and I don't mean this in an arrogance way or anything. People will just start using it and just assume that that's just the norm over the next while. And I was going to say a few months, years, but you never know these days. Um, but there are some decent things that can be done, and it will help. As for getting rid of developers, I don't know. Who knows? I mean, the way it looks, there could always be chance for that, couldn't there? I suppose it's like when robots came around with car manufacturing and things like that. Who knows? Who knows? Progression seems to be the thing, doesn't it? But anyway, for today, um, this is mostly around ChatGPT. I've got another episode I'm going to do with some other AI type stuff that I've seen. I mean, there's loads of news out there. This is even not even new news, it's quite old news. But what I'm talking about is plugins basically for ChatGPT. Bear in mind that you will need, for most of this, you do need the premium version of ChatGPT, which is about $20, I think, a month. So not that cheap, but depending on what you're going to do with this thing, isn't it? So what I've got is there's a few plugins which I think are quite interesting. I'll put some links in the show notes below. But the first one is internet access. So there's something called a link reader. That is because ChatGPT isn't necessarily right up to date, as we all know. So the link reader plugin will give you that ability to get sort of like more up to date information. It can also summarize specific URLs and assist with writing blog posts. Aha, there we go. Again, use it as you see fit. There's a few other things with travel planning with Kayak plugin. Personally, I don't do enough traveling these days to actually warrant this. But again, it's a plugin that will help you plan um, your destination. You can put budgets in. It will actually give you recommendations, all the rest of it. So that's quite an interesting one. But there are a couple of other ones. Like there's an AI Experts with the AI Agents plugin. That's things like you can delegate tasks to other AI agents to accomplish your goals. There's some quite interesting. It's like a personal assistant, I guess, to a degree. And I know there's a lot of these things floating around at the moment. Things like Jarvis and a few others. But anyway, there's quite a few things there. There's a few memory-based plugins. I'll link to the videos that I've seen this, because obviously when you lose a session out of ChatGPT, your history tends to go away. So there's a couple of plugins that will hold on to that memory if you wanted to. Okay, but yeah, some really quite interesting things. But a couple of them from good old Fireship IO, which always seems to the guy there seems to always get some quite incredible insights to these things. But there's a few things. There's some things about again using some of the advanced ChatGPT functions and plugins to do code and write code. But one thing that jumped out really is it's got a code interpreter that allows you to now upload files. So you can upload like an image and it'll OCR that. It solves math problems from documented stuff. Anyway, but the interesting thing is that you've got that OCR stuff. You can say, go grab me this table of data. Now, the thing is, at the moment, that is great, but you're using that in a UI. One thing I've got to look at is the API side of that. And I know on the Azure side of things, you've got things like cognitive services that I've been looking into quite a bit with OpenAI. So that you've got specialized models that are looking for things like invoicing statements or other types of form, table-based data. But the code interpreter is quite interesting. It's essentially based around mostly around Python at the moment, but it is now capable of doing things where it's generating code, testing the code, going back, reviewing the code, updating the code, writing tests. Goodness me. So there are a lot of interesting things that are going on there. But the final thing I'll leave you with, and we've gone way over 5 minutes, but anyway, is you can create a trading algorithm, or at least provide, to try to get the optimal trading strategies. I've been looking into this just to see if there is any value in this. I'm not a trader. I've done a little bit with MetaTrader in the past for someone else, actually, but I'm not a day trader for certain. But it's always been quite a curious avenue. But anyway, there's a lot of stuff going on with these sort of plugins, essentially, and some of the upgrading of ChatGPT to do these problem solving. So it's not just executing one AI request, it's actually then coming back and looking at stuff. Like I say, the OCR stuff's quite interesting. Some data analysis, it's doing things like cleaning up and optimizing data. You can upload a CSV and say, go and sort out the duplicates and all the rest of it. So there's some really quite interesting things. But anyway, too much to fit in just 5 mins, but there we go. That's what I've got for this time, and the links are in the notes below, and we'll catch you on the next one.